Bonjour tout le monde, welcome to Paris. We are doing weekday wanderings here from the Place Saint-Michel, and behind me we have the Fontaine Saint-Michel. I'm Jackie, and we also have a special guest here today. This is
Olivia.
Olivia. Hi Olivia.
Hello.
Olivia's been with us before. In fact, Olivia was doing a walk with us very near to where we are. We're actually going to walk past where Olivia was with us last time. So we have 3 people online now, so hello to you, welcome, glad you could join us. So we are here, now we're actually at the junction between the 6th arrondissement and the 5th arrondissement, and where we're going to go soon is going to change over to yet another arrondissement, so we're going to be doing lots of interweaving between arrondissements. So let us turn the camera around and show you where we are. So we are here at the Fontaine Saint-Michel. It's a very popular meeting place, as you can see, and a lot of other tours start off here, so it's a nice place to meet. The fountain's not actually working because being this time of year, they don't want to freeze pipes, etc., and cause major problems with the plumbing. So a lot of the fountains and like the Wallace Fountains and everything are shut off at this time of year. Hello there, so we got Glenda May. Hi Glenda May. Hello Judy, welcome. Okay, so I thought I'd bring you here to show you a few things. We were talking recently about Giberjeune. So this is the bookstore that was quite famous here, and of course it's been shut down about a year and a half ago, 2 years ago perhaps, I can't remember now. It just seemed to have dragged on. So you have one small one here. This little épicerie here was actually another one, and this épicerie here was another one, but the main one that people are being really upset about, bonjour Kim, bonjour Jenny Campbell, is this big one here, which doesn't look anything like it used to look. Right, very, very noisy here. Lot of police motorcades. And I will explain about that very soon. So we've got lots of these. Administration pénitentiaire. Okay. So one last look at the Fontaine, which was built under the Second Empire, and see that statue of Saint Michael and the Devil. It was supposed to be Napoleon Bonaparte, but people didn't like that idea, so they put Saint Michel there, which makes more sense, I think. Okay, so we're just waiting for the lights to change so we can cross. This is a very busy street. This is Boulevard Saint-Michel, and this heads up towards where I live in the 14th. So if you travel down here for probably another, I can't think of it in kilometres, but it's about 3 minutes on the bus, you get to the 14th. Okay. So once we crossed this road, we were technically in the, well actually now we're technically in the 5th arrondissement, and this is one of my favourite little areas of Paris because you've got all these little quaint streets. Now I asked somebody where they'd like to go, and they suggested little cobblestone streets of Montmartre, and yes, I will head there probably next week, I would say. But in the meantime, you've got these little cobblestone streets here. So this was a Giberjeune, the big store, and unfortunately it's going to be turned into a Five Guys burger place, and a lot of people are not happy about it. This is the Rue de la Huchette. Okay, so this was a Giberjeune. Okay, and then we've got nice little cobblestone streets and little cafes and hotels and souvenir shops, and then of course you've got things like Sephora popping up. So we're kind of against this whole thing of this very iconic, well this is the Latin Quarter, and we don't really want it turning into some big multinational commercial thing, but yeah, here we go. Okay, so the metro here of course is Saint Michel. It is also the area line B and C. Okay, so this is Le Départ, and this is open 24 hours. It's a nice little brasserie. And we're going to cross the road here. This is the Quai Saint-Michel. And of course, over here, we have Notre Dame, of course. So somebody else wanted to see Notre Dame, but of course we can't go in there. So, and we've already done a couple of tours that go right up close to it. So, believe me, as soon as it opens, I'd be very happy to take you there to have a look. The sun's against us, of course, so it's not the best view. So here we are, we're at the Seine now, and we're crossing over to the Ile de la Cité. Okay, so you can see the road is shut off here. So the buses used to come down here. They don't do that anymore though, because the very reason for that motorcade that just came past before. We're heading towards the Palais de Justice, and the Palais de Justice is where they're currently holding the biggest trial in French history, which even surpasses those of the French Revolution. And those are the court trials for the, we call them the attentats, the Bataclan. So in November in 2015, there was the massacre at the Bataclan Club and surrounding events at the Stade de France, and the couple of restaurants around the 10th arrondissement and the 11th. So here we are in the Ile de la Cité. And the buildings that we're coming to are very historic. So this was the original site of the city of Paris, which back in the day was called Lutèce. So this is a 2,000-year-old city. So it all started here. Of course, Paris is called Paris because the tribe of people who lived in this fortress city were called the Parisi. Okay, so obviously these buildings here are newer, but they are based around an original fortress that was over 2,000 years old. So Judy says, the trial of the Bataclan, yes. So this street normally is quite busy, but because of the trial, it's completely shut off. You have armed policemen, gendarmes, all parked up here. So the trial of the Bataclan, it started in September last year, and it is scheduled to last until May this year. So approximately 9 months. Okay, there's a lot of things here about the liberation of Paris. So a few weeks ago I did a walk from near my place down Avenue General Leclerc, where it was where General Leclerc entered into Paris, and they came basically up through the straight up Boulevard Saint-Michel up to here. So this was a very important location in the liberation of Paris. Here's a Wallace Fountain, and it's been turned off, like I said, because the fountains have been turned off during the colder months. Margaret Redrup's here. Bonjour, Margaret Redrup. Margaret Redrup recently had her birthday, so I would like to have a big shout out to Margaret Redrup. Some lovely cafes here. So, yeah. Yes, oh, Petit Déj, look at that. That's enticing, isn't it? We've got some souvenir shops and everything. Okay, so if you wanted to go to the La Sainte-Chapelle, this would be the entrance here. La Sainte-Chapelle. What is La Sainte-Chapelle? You can see the roof of it there, that spire. In my humble opinion, it is the most beautiful church in Paris, at least. It's absolutely gorgeous. It was built in 1248. Can you imagine that? 1248. It's really old. And let's go over here and we can get a little glimpse of it. Probably, no, we'll have to go around. I say this place is all blocked off here. We just have to make a little detour around here. We're going past the Café Les Deux Palais, which again is quite iconic and pretty. Now, the last time Olivia was with us, we actually started our walk just here because she was off to the prefecture. So this is where the prefecture of Paris is. So this is where people go when they want to get their visas renewed and stuff like that. So we're just going around the corner here. So where we started, the Metro Saint-Michel, which is line 4, there is a metro station over there. That's Metro Cité. So that's actually the next metro station. So we've just walked one metro stop. We've gone from Saint-Michel to Metro Cité. Okay, so this is a good view here. We have a look there. There's the La Sainte-Chapelle, and like I said, it was built in 1248, and it was built specifically for holding the relics of Christ, of the Passion. So King Louis IX of France, commonly known as Saint Louis. So that's anything like Ile Saint Louis or the city Saint Louis or whatever. It's all named after Saint Louis, who is Louis IX of France. He was very pious and he was involved in several crusades, and he purchased the relics of the Passion, which included the crown of thorns, a piece of the cross, and the spear that was used to stab Christ. So those were housed in this building here until relatively recently, and then they were put into Notre Dame, and they were saved from Notre Dame, and they're currently being housed in the Louvre. So that's La Sainte-Chapelle, and it consists of two chapels. There's the lower chapel and the upper chapel. Both of them are beautiful. The one up the top is literally like walking into heaven. It's so beautiful. So next to it we have here the Palais de Justice, and this is basically the High Court of France, and it is closed because, I mean, it's a very old building, but the role that it played in the judicial system has been superseded by a brand new building which is in Batignolles in the 17th. And that's obviously modern and large, and that deals with everything. But because this is a very important and noteworthy trial, this Bataclan trial, they've decided to hold that exclusively here. So normally this isn't open as a courthouse, but it is now, specifically for this trial. And of course this is all part of the Conciergerie. So this is the Conciergerie here. So it's currently a historic monument and museum, and it's amazing to go into. So this was probably the oldest part. Originally was built around the 900s, 1000s, so it's over 1,000 years old. Obviously the facades are a lot newer, but this was the Palais, which was built around that original fortress that's been here for 2,000 years. So it's very old, and back in the time it was the Palais, but it was also became the Parliament of Paris, and it was where all the administration was. And because the Palais de Justice is there, and the Cour de Cassation, which is the High Court of France, that's at the back of the building there, because it's all the judiciary and everything. It's a very important administrative part of France, particularly Paris. One of the most notable things on it is this is the Tour De La Roche. This is actually quite a new extension. This was built in the 1300s. It sounds new, 1300s. And they had a clock there, which is still functioning, but it's not physically there. The clock is in Versailles. It's in the bedroom of the king. But what they replaced it with in 1585 was this beautiful clock here. So unfortunately this light is not ideal. We've got a terrible view of it there, unfortunately. There we go, that's better. There we are. Absolutely gorgeous clock. So that clock has been refurbished somewhat. to retain its original glory, but it's pretty much been the same since 1585, which I think is quite amazing. Okay, so Saint-Chapelle is glorious. It is indeed. So we're actually now in the 4th arrondissement. Once we crossed over onto the Ile de la Cité, we're in the 4th arrondissement. We can cross over now. And here we're going to the Pont au Change. So the first bridge we crossed over was the Pont Saint-Michel. And this bridge here is the Pont au Change. And it's called the Pont au Change because this is basically where a lot of the merchants would come and do their exchanges of things. Money, gold, silver, that sort of thing. So you can see the conciergerie more now. You can see these towers here. There are 3 medieval towers there, so they've been there since like the 1300s, that sort of thing. Okay, so I don't know if I forgot to mention that this was also a prison. So this is during the French Revolution. A lot of people were imprisoned here, including Marie Antoinette. So this is where she was literally up until the moment she was taken off to the Place de la Concorde, which is just over the river here, there, to be guillotined. And of course in the distance there we can see that bridge there. That's the Pont Neuf, the new bridge of Paris, sorry. And at the end of the Pont Neuf is La Samaritaine, so you can just see that there. And then of course the long building there is the Louvre. Okay, so here we are crossing over. We have the sun in this direction, so I'll try not to point too far there, but you can see the Tour De La Ville here. It's just over there. Hello to anybody else who's joined us. We've just walked from Saint-Michel. We've walked over the bridge onto the Ile de la Cité, past the Conciergerie and the Palais de Justice. Now we're on the Pont au Change, heading towards Châtelet. We're going to end at Châtelet. So there used to be a castle, a small castle, hence why it's called Châtelet. Châtelet means small castle. And this was, well, so if you can imagine, if the original palace of Paris was here, and this was technically outside of Paris, then there was a castle here that was like a guardhouse, like a fortress entrance point to the city of Paris. So we're talking pre-Middle Ages sort of thing. And that Châtelet was here right up until the early 1800s, and then it was demolished and made way for bigger and better things, apparently, depending on which side of history you're on. This is a nice feature of Paris that I really enjoy, and it's the Garde Républicaine. Here on their horses. I love it. It's that kind of part of parochial France mixed with the modern France. So lovely to see some horses riding around, and I love horses too. Now the main features, before we do that, let's point over here, because this is one of my most favourite views of Paris. So you've got the Conciergerie there, you can see the Eiffel Tower and the Seine and Pont Neuf. And listen to those horses, aren't they beautiful? So nice. So this intersection is probably one of the most iconic in Paris, in my opinion. Okay, should we go that way? Okay. We've missed the lights. Okay, so at Châtelet we have two theatres, and they were built identical to each other. So these were built under Napoleon, either one, because especially the second one. So this is actually a theatre as well. This is the Teatro De La Ville, and this is the Teatro de Chapter. So if this one wasn't being reconstructed, you would see that they mirror each other. So that's why they were done like that. And then this fountain here is a fountain of victory, which was done in honor of Napoleon's victories in Egypt. Okay, here we go. Couple of iconic cafes there, the Mistral and the Sarah Bernhardt. Of course, Châtelet is a major destination or transport hub. So you have a lot of metro stations, you have RER stations, a lot of bus stations, etc. Behind there you can see the Tour Saint-Jacques, which we did a walk from just before Christmas. And like I said, my favourite view here, let's have a look at the river from here. Very popular. So you can see the roof of the Institut de France there. So that's at the end of the Pont des Arts, and we started one of our walks off there just before New Year. And this is where we would normally see during summertime the Paris plage all along here. But it's a bit quiet at the moment because obviously it's winter and it's a bit cold, and it does tend to flood here, so they have to be careful at this time of year. So anyway, there we go. And as per usual, I've talked a lot, so I'm going to finish there for now. And I will turn this way and give you a nice classic Parisian view. Here we go, look at that. Okay. So that's just a little wander through a very iconic part of Paris that I absolutely adore. I hope you enjoyed that, for those of you who are missing Paris. So thank you for coming along and joining me with that. Let me know if there's anywhere else you'd like to go. I think some people are keen on going up to Montmartre again, which I'm quite happy to do. But if there's any other places you want to go to, let me know. Oh, somebody's grumpy. What's wrong? I don't know who that was. So over here, let me know what's going on, okay? So Carmel sends a love heart, so that's nice. Jenny says, I've walked that route several times. It is wonderful to have your historical insights. Thank you. Thank you, Jenny. I appreciate that. Kim says, the clock is now on my list of things to see. Merci. You're welcome. I'm so pleased you liked it. Okay, so thank you again, everybody. Take care. I hope you're all very well. Stay away from COVID because it's awful. But in the most part, I think we're doing fairly well on that. So Glenda May says, fabulous Jackie, thanks, you've made me yearn to be there. Well, I hope that's a good thing, Glenda. So thank you, and we'll see you next time, okay? I think the grumpy is because you're finishing. Oh, is that the problem? Well, it makes me feel glad that you enjoy it, so it makes it all worth it, doesn't it? So take care, everybody. Thank you. Saying bye from Olivia. Au revoir. Au revoir. Et à bientôt. Oui, bien sûr. À bientôt. Bonne journée tout le monde, and bonne santé à tout le monde. Bye. See you next Friday.